Say hey, it's a Monday. It's Rumor and Innuendo. I'm Don McDaniel of AdFreakShows.com, Podcast Heat Wrestling, and SEScoops.com. But I'm here today, Mr. Robert Karplus, WWE Creative _ish. And man, did WWE flip its narrative on its head for WrestleMania season. Robert, happy Monday to you, my man.
Happy Monday to you, Don. Happy Monday to those folks joining us live in the chat. We'll say hi to some of those folks here. Ron Ward asks, okay, who gave the video a like before it even started? Ron, they knew. They knew. Oh, it was E, but whoever it was knew they were getting a quality episode of Rumor and Innuendo. No worries, no concerns here. Cammy Star says, after morning R&I, just a reminder, Raw is early today, 2 p.m. Eastern. It is indeed. I am so excited.
Do you want me to play it?
No. I really don't. Johnny Isco says, good day, R&I.
Hey, don't forget this one. Triple E says, what's up? That's 9 because Rob Van Dam returns live tonight. So excited. Whoop, whoop. 9:15 p.m. RVDTV.com. Rob returns. Talks about being a dad. Going to be fun stuff. Maybe smoking with Finn Balor for training with Finn Balor. Have to see.
I don't know what's going on. Trey Owen says, just got my lunch. R&I is on and Raw will be on in 2 hours. People are very excited about this 2 p.m. Raw start time, rightfully so. And Juana Breeze points out, hello, R&I. So far in 2026, WWE doing the exact opposite of Robert's predictions. They certainly are. And I am a little intrigued by what I saw this past Friday on SmackDown. I tried very, very hard to avoid any sort of spoilers to go watch SmackDown, thinking I was safe. Fortunately, one of the individuals in this main event match, who subsequently became world champion, I forgot where, Facebook friends on the kayfabe side, or the non-kayfabe side, and he had posted a picture of himself with his title, and I was like, son of a bitch.
You got me. Yeah.
I got.
You got indeed. And Europe, Berlin got by WWE at SmackDown. Sure enough, it was the 3-hour show. Robert, when did you watch it? When did you catch up on it?
I watched it probably Friday evening. I started watching it while it was on.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Would you, for an assessment of a 3-hour show, how did it go for you? How was the flow?
I thought it was a fantastic show overall. I've enjoyed the last 2 weeks of SmackDown. The 3-hour pace. Yes, there's a lot. I'm pulling up my notes. That's what I'm doing here, slightly off screen. But I thought that the way that they've built out the roster, the way that they've made a sense of importance around not only the world title, but everybody being focused on being world champion is a very interesting decision. Opening the show with Randy Orton and Trick Williams, again, letting a guy who's new, in quotes, to WWE main roster programming. He's obviously been a fixture on NXT and on TNA as their former world champion. When you've put him in there with Sami Zayn and he held his own, you put him in there with Randy Orton and he held his own, and then you put him in a match with Rey Fenix, it's clear this is a guy that they are high on. And I was a little cautious when they were debuting him. Right now, we're in that sort of Rumble Mania corridor. How much time are they going to really be able to give to Trick Williams? And is he going to hold up to the scrutiny? So far, Dom, he's been doing a great job.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think what you just said, I think to the point, they have a lot of confidence in him. And I'm intrigued, once Royal Rumble hits, how they're going to utilize him in that match. Obviously, if he's in there, which I'd imagine he would be. But it would be very interesting to make him kind of like a highlight, not to the style that Gunther had in his match, but maybe he lasts in the ring for a long, long time, and they make a big highlight of Trick Williams in the Royal Rumble men's match. So I'm for it, and I think that they keep sparking at that flame for him, because that creates the feel of a new star coming, and that's what you need in WWE right now. And Trick Williams, I think, should be one of them.
I think Trick Williams, they protected him well by putting him in there with Rey Fenix, and people were up in arms that Rey Fenix lost. He lost with someone holding his trunks. Like, it wasn't a decisive win. It gives Rey Fenix a way to come back in a week or two and get a rematch in there. But it's clear that Trick Williams is a guy that they see is worth investing some time in. And I think if Trick Williams is debuting on SmackDown, it does kind of feel like Obafemi is going to wind up debuting on Raw, or else you have sort of two big guy former NXT world champions trying to occupy the exact same space.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What else besides the main event stood out to you, Rob?
I'm looking through the rest of the card there. The fact that Charlotte wasn't there due to some sort of illness. I don't know if that was storyline, whatnot, but her not being there because she was sick, and then having Julia beat Alexa Bliss because of the interference by Lash Legends and Nia Jax. Nice little piece of business, giving Julia a solid win now that she is the United States champion on the women's side of the ledger.
Again.
Allowing Alexa Bliss to have a follow up story, which is these two tag teams are going to go at it, and more reason for everybody to dislike one another going into the Royal Rumble. They also sunsetted in a lot of ways the MFT Wyatt feud.
Yep.
It'll still sort of continue, but the idea was we need Solo elsewhere. So whether this winds up being kind of the full blow off and they go their separate ways, or we see it go the opposite, which is Bo Dallas now becomes a huge thorn in the side of Solo for the qualifying matches that were announced for this week's SmackDown.
Did you like that concept in addition to it? I think it really circled around and made what we were talking about with how the Royal Rumble world title match is typically like, oh, plug and play, basically. This is kind of like you get over that one. You don't really think about it too much. This one kind of gives it a little bit more stakes and makes it feel a little bit more important, and a thing that can typically be like, oh, we're here for the men's Royal Rumble match, the women's Royal Rumble match. Let's get to WrestleMania.
Yeah, and the whoever winds up competing in that spot, it's sort of a lame duck position, or generally has been this year. They're throwing some caution on the wind. We said last week WWE in August, September is going to look a lot different than it did in January. It looked a lot different Friday than it does Monday. And I think that's kind of exciting and interesting, and a little bit of a different change of pace. But the fact is, they know that this past week's episode of SmackDown was going up against a big night of college football. It was
Correct.
the playoffs, so they wanted to build a little bit of intrigue. Raw tonight, pre-taped. It's going to be taking place at 2:00 Eastern. They're over in Europe. Next week, I believe SmackDown's still in Europe, if I'm not mistaken. So the idea of announcing a number of matches in advance that you're going to get to see across those 3 hours, you're filling up time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Randy Orton and The Miz. It's Matt Cardona, Trick Williams, Damian Priest, Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn, Ilya Dragunov. All those people have a reason to be involved in this. They all sort of have some version of a story going on with them and a desire to be world champion, independent of the two men that both fell to Drew McIntyre in one form or another in the main event.
Yes. Where do you, before we get to that, where do you think who do you think is going to be that contender for Royal Rumble ultimately at this juncture?
I think there's a number of options. The idea is that the winners of this go to a 4-way at, I think, Saturday night's main event.
Yes.
So it feels like we're getting to Orton, Trick, Priest, and Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
I would be cautious with going this early with a Trick Williams.
Yeah, me too. Definitely me too. Mm-hmm.
The guy who seems kind of the most perfect for getting fed to a new world champion in Drew McIntyre is Damian Priest.
Interesting. And they teased that a little bit on the episode earlier on the show, with Drew and Priest having a little confrontation in the back. Yeah, I don't know. I almost feel like Sami Zayn might be the one to fit that bill too.
I would be careful with that, because I think that there does seem to be, they laid the groundwork for a Sami Zayn world title win. He's never been world champion. He's a guy who, when he wins the world title, it'll feel remarkably important.
Yes.
If they do Sami Zayn winning or challenging Drew McIntyre in Saudi Arabia, that's a tough one. Look, there's a world in which they push Sami Zayn's world title win to next year's WrestleMania, and they treat it almost as sort of a cheat of a homecoming. Like whenever they go over to anywhere in the UK, it's where Drew McIntyre is from. No matter
Right.
whether you're in England, Scotland, Wales, doesn't really matter. So the idea of Sami Zayn, who at one point wasn't even able to compete in Saudi Arabia and is now there, he has made they did the Hajj video 2 years ago or a year ago. They've tried to make it that Sami Zayn is sort of engaged in some form of a homecoming. I think you only get one bite of the apple there. So
Mhm.
you could go Sami Zayn Drew, but if Sami loses in that situation, it's like, where do you go with him from there? Versus Damian Priest, who's not quite your 1A babyface on SmackDown. I think that's still Cody. You've still got Randy Orton right underneath it. Priest doesn't have a lot going on, so give him the shot. Give him an opportunity to go challenge for the world title. He's a guy that you can beat. He did, in theory, just win his feud with Aleister Black. It makes that feud feel like it was important, and move on from there.
Are you subscribed to the notion that I mean, obviously it's common occurrence, but are you subscribed to that notion that WWE should have a world title match at Royal Rumble? Like it's kind of not needed, right?
I think you need one. If you're doing 4 matches total, I think it's fine to do one match.
Mhm.
And clearly, so if it's this match, we're not going to get a world heavyweight title match
Yeah.
with CM Punk, which is totally fine.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. I can buy into that for sure. Um, any takeaway with Jade Cargill and Jordan Grace mixing it up a little bit?
Got to do something with Jade. Jade
Hmm.
over the last several weeks has just kind of walked out there. From what I saw in this Jordan Grace match with Alba Fire, I would say, I mean, maybe saving it for a taped show is not a bad idea.
It's a fair point. Yeah, I mean, great contrasting looks with those two. So like that's interesting. But yeah, it's just how you gonna progress and develop Jade, and where's her floor in comparison to her ceiling and stuff like that. I think is what you got to consider with a lot of that. We also had Carmelo Hayes taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. Hayes, speaking to new stars getting built, he gets the win against Nakamura, and just kind of a good match there, Robert. And I like Carmelo Hayes a lot too as a babyface.
Carmelo looked great as a babyface. I think this U.S. title open challenge situation is really working in WWE's favor because whether it was Sami Zayn, Ilya Dragunov, or Carmelo Hayes, gives them a chance to spotlight them in some longer matches, some different matches that don't necessarily need a storyline, but
Hmm.
give these guys a spotlight and a chance to show what they can do in the ring. Carmelo Hayes was able to show with a veteran like Nakamura what he can go and do in the ring, and Nakamura can absolutely still go this many years into his run. There's a lot of strong veterans on SmackDown, so it's smart to utilize a Nakamura or a Johnny Gargano or a Matt Cardona and let them elevate some of the younger talent. And then there are 3 stages of hell.
Then there are 3 stages of hell, indeed. Yes, main event: Drew McIntyre, the challenger, taking on Cody Rhodes for that WWE Championship. And yes, Drew gets the first win by cheating underhanded, low blow, and then Cody gets the second win by the Falls Count Anywhere stipulation after a crossroads delivered to Drew on the commentary table. And then we had the cage match, obviously, with the return of Jacob Fatu, and ultimately costing Cody that championship. Drew escaping and becoming a new champ, and then posting some great memes and content online afterwards. Robert, we did not expect that to happen, but it happened.
I did say I didn't expect it to happen, but it would be great if it did in
Mhm.
some regard, because I think Drew does deserve a shot with the world title. And it was like, what do you do with him from there? The way that we got there, Scott Chaplin sent me a video. It was the last minute of that match set to the Benny Hill theme song,
Oh my gosh.
and you just can't unsee it of how just wacky and goofy and shenanigans ridden that main event finish was. it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you who may have missed it, during the idea was that Drew was trying to get into the head of Cody Rhodes. He was taunting him by burning the picture of Dusty. He stole the watch that Dusty had pawned for Cody with the idea that Cody's emotions were going to get the better of him. And then in that third match, tied at 1 apiece, battling in the cage, Jacob Fatu interferes because Fatu had gotten taken out by Drew McIntyre. And then Jacob Fatu, in a lunatic rage, a stupor, I don't know what the hell we want to call it, he winds up also attacking Cody by accident, and then Drew escapes.
Yeah.
Huh?
What do you think that sets up? Is it setting up Cody versus Jacob then? And then you got Cody almost like, because Jacob is very over as a babyface. Like,
Jacob's over as a babyface. This felt dumb. It made Fatu look kind of stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because there was the story that they're going to tell, which was Cody was at the top of the cage, and rather than climb over and win, he decided he had to go do the Cody Cutter.
Yeah.
And now he's lost the world title. So now it looks like we're going to get to an elimination chamber,
mm-hmm.
where there's so many different iterations of what may in theory wind up happening, which is maybe Cody wins the title back at Elimination Chamber to ultimately go face Roman Reigns at Mania, which is what it felt like the plan for this all along was, with this little deviation. The only couple reasons, but I think the main reason why they may have done this was the idea is Roman is still planned to win the Royal Rumble, to be able to advertise, hey, he wins the first Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, not counting the greatest Royal Rumble ever. I think that's what it was called.
That's
one where Titus O'Neil falls under the ring. But that Roman wins the Royal Rumble, and then he can sit back and not be on TV for February and March. And you don't need a story necessarily. So it's, I'm going to sit back, I'm going to see you, I'm going to call my shot, because I had already, at the end of War Games, or whatever that was, looked at Punk and looked at Roman or Cody, and I was like, one of you guys, I'm going to come after your title. Maybe that's where that's going. So the idea is Roman's off TV. We don't necessarily need a long, detailed story for Cody. And then you can get to the Elimination Chamber, which can be a lot of the folks that we see in this qualifier situation thrown in there. So it's Drew, it's Fatu, it's Cody, it's Orton, it's Trick Williams, it's Solo or Sammy put in there. Shake it all up. Cody wins the title back again to then go face Roman Reigns. It's not a great story.
That's not compelling that much.
It's not super compelling, but it does give you a reason to keep Roman off TV while sitting there waiting as the number one contender.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I get Roman's a big star and like one of your biggest names, like in the past decade and stuff. But it's just, if he's not there, and you're building to cultivate new stars and make it feel like a big deal and all this aspect that you're really trying to pay attention to. And what's arguably a pretty, I mean, every year is a big year for WWE, but this is a big one too. You want to put your best foot forward when it comes to that too at the same time. I don't know. It's a risk. I think it's a risk to do that with Roman.
I think that with Roman sitting in the catbird seat, I think is the phrase they always use, the idea that he can just kind of sit back and see what's happening. You can still have Roman as a presence on WWE TV without necessarily him being there week in and week out. And the idea is not only is someone trying to win the WWE title, they want to win for the opportunity to main event WrestleMania against Roman Reigns as the challenger. So you've kind of flipped the script a little bit. That Hunter had said before, Roman was sliding into that Undertaker spot of whoever gets to face Roman Reigns, that's your big moment. That's your big match. So if the value is wrestling Roman Reigns at WrestleMania is the equivalent to wrestling The Undertaker back in the day, or main eventing the show, this does get you there. That your prize is winning the Elimination Chamber, winning the title, and facing Roman Reigns to headline WrestleMania, which frees Punk up, in theory, to do whatever it is that they're going to do on the Raw side of the ledger.
Aren't you kind of like kind of merging two together where you could have three big matches instead of two, because you're having Roman, your Undertaker match, quote unquote, merge with your world title match, And so you're taking a chess piece off the table basically for WrestleMania.
You are, but you need Roman to have a match with consequences
What about him,
at
Jacob
WrestleMania.
Fatu? Something
I
like
think
that.
it feels like Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre is your Mania match.
Interesting.
You know, the idea that Fatu and Cody both want direct revenge against Drew, and there's 8 other guys getting the opportunity and not them, means they have to sit on the sidelines. So they can have a one-on-one a match, an altercation, whatever it is, a situation with the two of them in the Rumble where they take each other out. Like, there's all kinds of ways that you can work that piece of the story while also having 8 other folks pursuing gold. And you need to do something for Elimination Chamber. It's Drew. You could have him get an underhanded win at Rumble, where the idea is you're not coasting to WrestleMania. You're putting that title on the line at Chamber, and so be it.
Okay. Yeah. No, they certainly opened the doors up for a lot of opportunities here.
It felt a little bit like, I know that Cody and Drew have been pushing for a while for Drew to win the world title. This was back during their feud towards the tail end of 2025. This is what they wanted to see. We're kind of getting it here. The idea is the international crowd gets a big moment. They always like to do something to reward the European audience for showing up. It was the kind of headline grabbing thing that if you were watching the college football playoff game, it was not that super competitive.
Nope.
They took the gamble that Indiana was going to Brock Lesnar the hell out of Oregon. And they're like, maybe people will tune in just to see that finish, just to see what happens at the end of the 3 stages of hell.
Yeah.
And I got to see what happens to that world title match. It's not a terrible idea. It's just where the follow-up is and how they get there. My biggest surprise with it is knowing how volatile everything is on Monday Night Raw. With Seth Rollins being out, and it's Punk, and it's how much mileage you're going to get out of Punk, and you don't really have a set in stone big match for CM Punk at WrestleMania. Cody as the constant is why I didn't think they were going to change the title. I was concerned about Drew. Now, a little concerned about them building a solid foundation here January 12th to get to WrestleMania April, whatever that is.
Yeah, like let's preview it, I guess. Raw is happening tonight overseas.
Raw's happening tonight. Raw's happening in an hour and a half.
Yeah, today, not tonight. CM Punk is set to speak, Robert. Then we also, AJ Styles versus Gunther going down too.
Yeah, that was what they had announced before. Again, European show. We want to give that crowd a quasi pay-per-view vibe, and they know that there's people who are not going to tune in at 2:00. They're going to know it's pre-tape Raw. With Netflix, you can watch it now at any time after the fact, which is very confusing, but kind of cool. So people may, in their regular habits, tune in at 8:00 tonight, or they know, oh man, there's an AJ Gunther match. Yeah, it's a pre-tape show. I really want to just watch that because I feel like it's going to be a great match. They also loaded it up with we had thought some version of a 6-man or an 8-man with the Lucha folks who attacked the Vision. We're getting a tag match done.
Tag match. They're whittling it down a little bit. It's Penta and Dragon Lee. They're going up against the Vision. That's Bronson Reed and Austin Theory. Fun match, I think, set up for that European crowd. Don't know exactly where it's going to all develop to and everything, because where are you going to put Bronson Reed? Where are you putting Austin Theory? And actually, what's next for Penta too?
You're putting them all in the Rumble, Dom.
True.
All these guys are going into the Royal Rumble because now the Paul Heyman narrative is everybody else has a 1 in 30 chance. The Vision has a 4 in 30 chance.
Yeah.
2 in 15. If we want to start doing some Steiner math, it's 1 in 7.5 chance of winning. So you need a half person. So maybe Hornswoggle's in this.
Hornswoggle might be.
But yeah, the idea is the Vision is with 1 wins, they all win. So they're going in the Rumble. You've now got Penta and Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio going into the Rumble with 2 missions: try to win and try to ensure that the Vision don't win. You've got the 8 guys that are vying for now 10 guys vying for Drew McIntyre's world title. I mean, one of them's getting the shot. The other 9 are getting thrown in there. that's a pretty good chunk of your field that already has a story going into the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Yeah, you're setting some things up pretty nicely there for sure. Yeah, I'm just gonna what a wild kind of off season that's going into the WrestleMania season now at this point.
It
So
felt like change for change's sake, which I don't
mhm.
necessarily love, and WWE has not really done that a lot of late. But it did give you some some things to talk about, some intrigue, and it's a nice little reward for Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, absolutely. Hmm.
Drew's a guy who feels like he should have been world champion more and longer. I don't see him being world champion going into WrestleMania because Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu for the WWE title, that would feel very rushed.
Hmm.
While we do think Jacob Fatu is going to be WWE champion, I think that needs a little bit of time for the audience to really grow into that idea and not be thinking we want to see Cody win it back.
Sure. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Somebody that didn't win last night was The Rock, Robert. He was a nominee for the Golden Globes for the Fighting Machine. That's what it's called,
Smashing
right?
machine.
Smashing Machine, and he did not win. It ended up going to Wagner Mora for
The
his
secret,
role as
yes,
the secret agent.
the secret agent. Yes. So
Mhm.
Rock, Dwayne getting the nomination for the Golden Globe was probably the best that was going to happen for him coming out of that movie.
Mhm.
He is probably not going to get nominated for Best Actor for an Oscar. I
No.
know that's what he wanted and hoped, but the thing you have to remember is with the Golden Globes, they split up music and comedy and drama.
Mhm.
And two of the folks that were nominated for a comedy performance, Timothy Chalamet, Leonardo DiCaprio. First of all, neither one of those are necessarily comedies. It's just like by the skin of their teeth, we're calling this a comedy there. So it
Yeah.
feels like the two of them are going to wind up for sure getting two of the five nominees. Michael B. Jordan's going to wind up getting nominated. Um, I think that there's not enough space. I mean, Wagner was already a favorite to get nominated. You then got Ethan Hawke, who's most likely going to get nominated. You stretch it out a little bit further. I think Jeremy Allen White may wind up getting a nominee above Dwayne Johnson. Smash Machine did not do well in theaters.
No. No, it did not.
But Wrestling
What
Oldhead
did
says maybe Dwayne will get for Chicken Man, the movie where he apparently lost all that weight. How many Bruce Springsteen related films are we getting there?
I don't know. I'm waiting for the ghost of Tom Joad. That's what I'm waiting for. What does this speak to anything about Rock's wrestling future with WWE? Him not winning, what this and like his Hollywood status, kind of all
No,
in the
I
mix.
think his Hollywood status is just fine. I think one of the crazy things is he is still a massive box office draw. His
Hmm.
films still, even when they flop, he still finds a way to pivot and make money. Like none of these failures tend to stay on him. Smashing Machine was his chance to show, like, I have acting chops. The criticism of the film was not, boy, he's a terrible actor. It
No,
was, this is not a particularly interesting movie. It's very, very straightforward. It's not the best Safdie brothers movie of the year. That's clearly Marty Supreme.
sure, yeah.
So this was a very down the middle kind of film. Hollywood likes Dwayne Johnson. There's an effortlessness to him with that crowd that we all see through. We're used to it's the Rock, it's the Carney nonsense. In mainstream Hollywood, Dwayne is a unique novelty. And boy, he feels like a big movie star, and it's funny to see him sit there with Kevin Hart. He's doing another Jumanji. He'll be fine.
He'll be all right. He's the people's champ.
He is the people's champ. We are the people's podcast, I guess.
Hey,
Are we? I don't know. We're rumor and innuendo. We're whatever the hell we are. But we will be back at noon Eastern tomorrow to talk everything that's about to happen at 2 p.m. Eastern today. That's why we're not delving too deep into the Raw preview because some of y'all might be listening to this 3, 4, 5, knowing the way that Dom posts. This will probably be posted 7 hours after Raw's over.
11 p.m. tonight.
11 p.m. While he's hanging out there with Rob Van Dam and whoever else your guests are. But we'll be back tomorrow to break down everything that happens on Monday Night Raw. You can catch us on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative _ISH X account, the @Dominic D'Angelo X account, the @SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo, Podcast Heat, and ad-free shows. So on behalf of the man who has great taste in music and terrible taste in football teams, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Help. I need somebody. Maybe a paperback writer.
Shh.